I'm Kathleen Davies. I've been working on a project which I call Soul Garden, a combination of creative writing like memoir, creative nonfiction concerning cemeteries, which is why we are here in Grandview Cemetery, which is a it's sort of similar to the cemetery that inspired me to start this project. I moved to Lima some years ago and I found a cemetery there that was just gorgeous. And I wondered about it. It looked like a park, you know, except for the gravestones. Lots of trees, old trees, many having tags on them with the botanical names. And I could tell it had been landscaped very carefully, and I found this very intriguing. Serpentine paths, a little stone bridge, a pond in the back, you know, just all of it. And so that sparked my interest. I would walk my dog there frequently. And ended up doing a little research too to get some background on it, and discovered that it's called a Victorian garden cemetery, which is what I think Grandview is, more or less. And they were, in fact, very deliberately created. It started with Père Lachaise in Paris, and then I think the American incarnation, I think that began in 1830, somewhere around in there in the Northeast. May have had a bit of a transcendentalist influence on it. The idea was to make cemeteries beautiful and, I guess, a soft place to fall, you know, a typical Victorian sensibility. A place that in some ways brought art to people, you know, along with the botanical study, and people really would treat them like parks. For example, the one in Columbus, Green Lawn, is considered an arboretum. It's a place where the birds can go, you know. It's filled with trees. It's a multifunctional landscape. It's not just a place where people are buried. Well, I became obsessed with cemeteries, especially these Victorian garden cemeteries, and I started traveling all over Ohio. I've been to at least 50 towns and cities, photographing thousands of images. And the piece that I have coming out this spring is called Romancing the Stone, and it explores why I am obsessed with photographing statues in particular, and women, images of women statues. What I finally decided with shooting all these women statues in particular was that, to me, they somehow represented the sacred feminine, which of course is lacking in our culture. Most of our traditional religions are, you know, patriarchal. They're male-based. Either God is seen as male, and or the people who head the church traditionally are male. It's just male-dominant. You know, maybe Mary in the Catholic Church is probably the closest thing that we have to the sacred feminine. And a lot of the statues of women figures, even angels, actually look like and sometimes are representations of Greek goddesses. Well, I'm just starting really to publish the work, and as I said, I've been trying to kind of switch from scholarly writing to a more creative memoir type writing, and then I do weave the research in. One thing that's important about it for our culture is to show the importance of grief and mourning. Grief and the different emotions that tie into that, whether it be sadness or even anger sometimes, is just such a fundamental emotion. Our society tends to, you know, be more partial to the extrovert. And, you know, I mean, optimism is important. I wouldn't say it isn't, but, you know, just the more, that positive, smiley face kind of mentality that we tend to have, and that the media is constantly pushing on us. So I think the cemetery is a deepening place. It is a place worth preserving and celebrating and exploring. You know, I think it's helping me to reclaim my voice, ultimately.